Hello, hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk about second guessing yourself. This is something that we all do. Some people are more confident than others and are good at hiding it, but we all fall victim to it. I personally have it happen to me every time I upload a video. I feel great about when I'm getting ready to upload, but as soon as the video goes public, I start imagining all the things I got wrong in it. Using last week's video as an example, I had questions such as, was this correct in my years regarding the Revolutionary War? Or did I properly represent the South Korea situation? The other thing is that I started questioning the video itself. Was it a good topic? Should I explain things better? Will people like it? This creates a feeling of doubt. It was strange. On my previous channel, as I started getting more views, and granted they weren't anything impressive, the more I started worrying about what I was making. I scrapped so many scripts and ideas that I thought they were good at first, but by the time I was finished writing them, I absolutely hated it. Now, I'm someone who wasn't an artist growing up. I consumed and consumed but never created anything. The only things I created were English essays in school, and I can promise you I did the absolute bare minimum on those, so those are kinda negligent. The other thing I created were shitty art projects that were so sloppily made, it was probably like a second grader made them. So jumping into making videos with no outlines or guides on how to do it was quite the change. When you're in school or just following instructions, there's always something to blame or fall back on. You can second guess yourself in anything you do. Having doubts about your creations is extremely demotivating. I'm by far my harshest critic, not necessarily a perfectionist, but probably one short step below that. If I'm editing a video that I made and I stay on it for too long, then I can always find a way that something's not right with it. But it's strange because I don't look at other people's creations with such a keen eye, only my own. Now, a way I've gotten over this hurdle, to a certain extent at least, and this is about to sound extremely cliche, is to believe in myself. Having firm beliefs helps me trust the process. I believe in my past self and his ideas. It's not that I'm hard-headed and will change my ideas as I get more information, but you can't stay the course with a shaky steering wheel. The other way I fight back against second-guessing myself is just not to care. By this I mean if there's something that I think is not 100% right, I try to put myself in another person's perspective to view how they would look at it. The way I don't look at other people's creations with a keen eye, I try to remember that mostly everybody else does the same thing with what I create. So through that, I have a feeling that it's not as bad as I think it is. Or I may just be crazy and I don't even know if I'm accurate or not when I do it, but it's allowed me to move forward with things at least. Honestly, when I first uploaded my first video on this channel last week, I was quite dejected. Although I've stated I don't care about the views or if people care about my ideas in the first place, saying something and actually seeing it are different things. For the first 2 days the video was out, YouTube didn't push it out to a single person. I expected this to happen and was okay with the thought of it, but when it actually happened, I had a serious moment of doubt. Questions came rushing in like, should I try changing the title? Will changing the description help? Is this video doomed forever? And keep in mind, this is only the first 2 days it was out, on a brand new channel with 0 subscribers, 0 everything, and the only view it had was for me watching it on my second YouTube channel. What annoys me about these questions is that this feeling is entirely irrational, and while I know this, I can't help but feel bad about it. Setting something up and waiting for it to do well can eat you alive. This leads me into my next example, one that plagues me even more. But first, please like the video. And I will never do that again. I feel awful now. But anyway, this is quite a similar feeling to releasing a video, but this has real monetary implications. That being investing. If you've never invested money before, be very careful, as it's not for the faint-hearted. Now, I'm not here to give investment advice, but something that people do not take into account when buying and selling stocks is the mental side of it. Very similar to the feeling of getting no views when you upload a video. When you buy a stock, there's a feeling that you immediately want it to go up. And when that obviously doesn't happen, there's an unshakable feeling of regret. Did I buy the wrong thing? Should I have bought Apple rather than Microsoft? These types of questions are inevitable. I've had a couple times where I sold something a little too early or I didn't buy something I should have, and then it shot up to the moon. For example, the first stock I ever bought was in 2019 for $4 a share. It wasn't a whole lot of money or anything, but it was worth around $500 in total. It was a crypto mining company or something like that, so right after I bought the damn thing, it dropped to $2 a share within the first 2 months. Seeing my money go down that quickly was certainly humbling, but I didn't really regret it because I was a greenhorn investor. So I waited and waited, and another 3 months later, it bounced back up to $5, which was nice because I felt somewhat vindicated that my investment was good. In reality, I got lucky as shit because I didn't actually have an investment thesis or anything. I just gambled and read a Yahoo Finance article saying that I should buy it and it would make me some money. And it wasn't really wrong, but I don't recommend doing that. And I can't tell you how fast I went and sold that stock because I didn't want to deal with that shit anymore. I was like, man, this thing's gonna go to fucking zero. Well, fast forward to 2 years later in 2021, and I did mention it was a crypto mining company. So when crypto was on its big bull run, that stock was at $50. $50. My 500 could have been 5,000. And at that time, that was like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. But I keep myself sane by reminding myself I was never going to hold on to that stock for that long. Even with that being said, I can't help but be a little bit annoyed at that. And honestly, there's countless more examples of things I bought that didn't do well or just took a long time to actually do anything. XRP. But I want to move on and briefly talk about second guessing yourself as a person. This is a little bit different than the other two, as those were things that you create and then you may regret after doing it. This is something that you can't avoid and have to deal with until you tackle the problem yourself. Now, I would argue these two small examples that I gave with the investing and the video making, they are microcosms of the bigger picture. Compared to some people, I'm pretty sure of myself and who I am as a person. This also applies to what I do on a daily basis. But this wasn't natural. It took years and years to become confident in who I am. For reference, I'm 25 years old, and while things have not been perfect the past couple years, I've seen a lot of growth in myself lately. Compared to a time in like high school, I'm a drastically different person. I mean, during that time period, there was a good amount of time where I literally forgot how to conversate with other people. I vividly remember going on WikiHow and looking up how to talk to people. And yeah, that was a weird time of my life that I don't like to go back to a lot, so yeah, there's that. But regardless, I figured that out eventually, and getting a retail job really changed that pretty drastically, because when you're forced to talk to people and actually have conversation and you're trying to sell something, you can't avoid it. There were also points where I questioned my body, and I was in pretty good shape, but I felt too skinny. I second-guessed my decision about going to college for a while, would think that everybody else in the room was mocking me or judging me. The list goes on and on. I don't know how normal that is. I've never really opened up about it to anybody, and it's probably going to stay that way for a while unless I'm drunk, but not that it really matters anymore. I've moved on, and that's all in the past. So if you came to this video looking for advice to help your issues, then I have bad news for you. The only way you can really fix these problems that you have is with yourself and just time. You know, continue putting yourself in awkward situations and slowly learn from those mistakes. One realization I've learned, and this is from that same retail job that helped me overcome everything else, is to not care so much about every little thing. That's not to say don't care about important things like goals in your future, but when it comes to you and your own decision making, don't put the weight of the world on each thing you do. Once you realize that on your own, you can start to believe in yourself and become grounded in reality and realize that nobody really cares. Everybody's so focused on themselves, they have no time for you. If you're insecure by your decision making or your body or yourself, well, then I have no idea. I would recommend going to talk to somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, not some random faceless guy on a YouTube channel who has no credentials, no knowledge of anything, and is kind of stupid at times. But either way, if you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts or opinions or questions, you know, leave a comment if you have those. Yeah, thanks. Have a good day.